Hey, what is up, everybody? Mark here, and we're going to be looking at the Tesla today. We have a little issue with it. 65,000 miles, out of warranty, and I have a repair. Well, if you take a look down in here, I've got this blue tape and a string in here. My Frunk actuator had failed, and I was going to bring it in for service and warranty repair, but I realized that Tesla will actually sell me the part for about $80. It was going to be about $250 otherwise, and I'm going to tell you a trick and a tip in case you have this same issue as well. So the wife and I were getting ready to take a trip with the kids. We were going to use this car here, and as I was loading with the Frunk, I noticed that there were some issues with it opening. I couldn't tell what it was. I tried a few times, and lo and behold, the actuator inside of this car here had failed. Now, I was telling myself, man, if I close this trunk, we're never going to get it open again. If you start to have any trouble with your Frunk, take apart all of your car here and connect this right here like I did. Just a string that goes into the actuator where you can pull it and you can pull the cable, because otherwise it's going to cost you an arm and a leg to get it fixed. Now you're probably wondering why. It's because if you can't get it open from here, there's no way to get the Frunk open, and Tesla has to take off the bumper and all of the underside in order to get it. It could be about an $800 to $1,000 repair. So if you do have any trouble with this, where your Frunk doesn't open, don't second guess it. Take a string and tie it to there. So we're going to open this up and pull it out. I've got it tied in here, as you can see, and it's all wet. So what we're going to have to do here is press the Frunk. It'll show that it's open, but on the outside of the car it's not. And then what we need to do here is this string that's hanging out here, this thread, we're going to pull this just slightly and get that secondary to open up. And that's that. So now we've got to replace this. Let's dive into it. So in order to complete this job, you're only going to need one tool, and that's a 10mm socket if you can find one. The parts necessary, if you get the wrong part like I did, just swap it out, and you'll see that here in just a minute. Now you're going to take all of these bolts off. These are the 10mm, and I used a longer socket for these, but you may need to get an extension. You're going to pop the cover off that covers the battery, brake reservoir, and the air intake. And that's going to give you access to one more bolt that's behind that cover right there. Once you get that last bolt done, you can remove the air intake cover, slide the tray out, and then expose where the actuator is. Now you can see the actuator's underneath here. You're going to have to unplug it. Many people recommend that you take your 12-volt battery and disconnect it while working on the car. On this instance, I didn't. Now these require a 10mm socket underneath here, and just two of them to take them apart. Once you get this done, the whole assembly will come out. Now I used a sharp pointy object like an awl to get in here where the zip tie connects the wiring harness to the actual actuator harness. So when I was at Tesla, we went over the parts diagram and I thought I got the right part. But when I pulled it out of the box here, I knew immediately it was the wrong part. The part that they provided me was the secondary actuator and I needed the primary. But after looking at it, I realized that I could take the actuator off and use it in the original bracket that was on the car. So I took the two bolts out, removed it, and then placed the new one back in. And that was it. It worked flawlessly. The screws lined up and everything. So these just flip back and forth from primary to secondary. The secondary is going to be on the passenger side, and the primary is going to be on the driver's side, just for future reference. All right, got those put back. I'm going to connect the cabling. We'll put that back in, bolt it down, and that should be it. Now, I didn't have any torque specs for these parts right here, but I just went and snugged them down just a little bit. And I can always check them later on. So we're going to plug this back in, get everything together, and hopefully this will work. All right, after checking everything here, I want to tie a string to it once again. I'm going to close it and double check it. Thankfully, that worked flawless. All right, so it's time to cinch everything down and then put everything back. Now, this video was condensed down from about 30 minutes to the 8 minutes that you see here. It was pretty easy to do. If you don't have much mechanical skills or repair skills, then you should be able to do it. But if you're unsure of that, just grab a mechanic. You might be able to get someone locally rather than take it to Tesla if you do have the part in hand. All right, we're going to do this one last test here. We shut it up. And yes, it works fine. Everything worked out really well right here. This was a really easy repair despite having all the troubles that we had with it. Now, if you were to send this into Tesla, the charge would be about $250 to repair this if you can get the frunk open. If not, upwards of the $1,000. And on top of that, your car is going to be out of service for about 2 to 3 weeks as they try to get the parts and repair it. Well, we're going to connect the light back up and the cover for this part right here. Get that cinched in, and we are done. Last thing we have to do is put the air intake cover and the battery cover over. Pound that in just a little bit. Now, I hope this video helped you out. If it did, throw a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys again soon. Thanks for watching. We are out of here. Now I have full use of the frunk. Super excited.